Hey everybody, welcome back to New Life Garage. We're working on the yume Y11 again today. I had a flat the other day. I went ahead and fixed the flat because I needed the scooter for the weekend. But I want to go through and show y'all how easy it is to change or patch a tube. So I'm going to flip this around real quick. We're also going to go through what I keep in my toolbox and why I keep it on my toolbox, or my tool pouch, the one that comes with the yume scooter. Let me flip. Okay, hopefully everybody can see this pretty good. Okay, so I had a flat on the front tire. It was real simple to fix, but I keep tools in my tool pouch here all the time. One that everybody's going to keep, of course, is the yume universal tool. Keep that in there because it's got a little bit of everything on it. And also keep this DeWalt. This is a basically a rechargeable nut runner. You can put screw tips, whatever tips you want in there. Keep you a big mouth crescent wrench in there in case you got to take a tire off. This is a set of bit tips that are for that drill. And this is a tube patch kit. Now, in here is your patches and your little sand and metal and your glue, but you need to add a toothpick. And I keep a toothpick, put a couple of them in here, whatever. But the reason why I tell you to put a toothpick in there's a toothpick. Keep that in your patch kit because when you go to find a leak in your tube, you have to put it in water. And most times the holes are really tiny. So once you find the hole, you can poke a toothpick in the hole, and then you can dry your tube, and then you can patch your tube and not lose where the hole is. So I'm going to get my tip out that we need for taking this wheel off. We're going to take this wheel off. I think it's this one. It's that one right there. So we'll put this in. I broke these nuts loose earlier just to simplify things. They're not hard to break loose. In addition, there's a couple of washers on these forks, on these tires. One of them you have to be careful. It only goes on one side because it's got a cutout for the wiring for the motor. You want to make sure you get that back on the right side. So you take your wheel off, make sure you identify that how you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and take these screws out in here where the rim is bolted together. Get the split rim. Take them out. Now my flat, when I had my flat, I found a bunch of little bitty, not a bunch, you know, maybe 10 little bitty flakes of aluminum in there. Yeah. I think it's probably from this being a split rim. It gets a little bit loose every once in a while and maybe flakes a little bit of that aluminum off. And that's probably what caused it. So it may be a good idea to keep a check on these screws along with the other maintenance items that you're keeping up with and that you're doing all the time. So we got the screws out, and those screws hold the rim together. And the tire's pretty much ready to come off, except for these little lock style washers we have on here. We pop those up. They're a little tricky to get up, not too bad, but they are a little tricky. This is what they look like. And they go down over the hub, and then this little lock key holds the axle from coming off. They're not really stuck in there. You just got to have something just to lift them a little bit. Just like that. It goes on top, holds the axle on there. Put that right there. Now, you also got washers inside this rim on the axle. So we're going to slide this down carefully. So we got this one on that side that the wires are not on. And then we got this one on the side that the wires are on, and this is for your wires to have clearance. So once we get the tire like this, what I did was I just took this and laid it right up here, and I turned my handlebars this way. That way I could get to the tire. Then we can pull this little split rim apart here. It's really not as hard to get apart as it looks. You just gotta work it around. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now we've pulled this off. There's the back side of this rim, bolts up to this side of this rim, and that's where I was talking where we might be getting some metal shavings. I don't know that for a fact. I know they came from somewhere. So then we pull this right here off. It's not too big a deal. Set that there. Then you can pull your tube out. Just like that. Now, as you can see, right here is where I had my hole. So when you put this tube back in, you're gonna have to deflate it before you put it back in, or it'll just kind of fight you. So anyway, what you do is you sand on this tube a little bit with a little metal tab. You'll see it in there. Once you get it sanded, that kind of cleans it. You put your glue on there, let it set for about a minute, and then you peel and stick this. Now, you're supposed to kind of use a roller to roll across this deal, and it's got little spiky tips on it to adhere the patch to the tube real well. However, most of us don't have that. But if you'll take a bottle, most of your bottles have a ridged bottom on them, and if you'll let the air out and lay this flat, you can kind of bang on that with a bottle and it'll make it stick real good. So I got this done. I used this for 3 or 4 days since I patched it. Haven't had any issues whatsoever, and like I said, the hole was teeny tiny. So once you get the hole patched and get it all glued, I aired mine up and I put it back in water to make sure it wasn't leaking, and it wasn't. So, but now we can put this back in. When you put this back in, you want to put this in the tire first, like this. Make sure it's not, folded up. Make sure it's good and straight. It's not wrinkled up or anything like that. And then we're going to take this back off. We're going to put this through here. Right like that. Put that back through there. And then when we put this back on, we're going to line these holes up. It doesn't really matter which holes you line them up with. It's just fits on there one way. Well, it fits on there anyway, as long as you got the holes lined up, it'll fit. Get these started by hand first before you use a power tool, because you don't want to cross thread. If you cross thread this rim, you're going to be having to get a new rim. We don't want to do that. Each one of these started just a couple turns. It don't take much. Okay, so just a little bit more about this DeWalt. I've had this for quite a few years. It's 12-volt rechargeable. And just so you know, it's got a gyro in it, so there's no switch to flip back and forth to go forward or backwards. You simply push the button, no matter what angle, you push the button, and then if you watch the tip, if you turn to the right, it'll go to the right. If you turn to the left, it'll go to the left. And the further you turn it, the faster it goes. These are great to have, especially on scooters, especially on small projects where we're not talking about tons and tons and tons of torque. This thing will get it done, and the battery lasts forever, so I hardly ever have to charge it. So now we got to put our washers back on, and we got to put them back on the sides that they go on. So first we got this washer on this side where there is no wires. This one's the one that we got to be careful with. This one has to go on the side with the wires, and the wires have to go through here or we'll pinch our wires. So we're going to get this back down here like this. Get it up here. We're going to get that one side on there just a bit. We're going to put this on here. And we want this to line up with that. And then as we slide this on, we have to also line this brake up. Yep. Everything's always easier when you got an extra hand. But we don't have an extra hand today, so. So close. The tolerance is really tight on these forks, surprisingly. And they will kind of twist on you, ever so slightly. Come on, you're almost in there. I was gotta go down just a little bit. There we go. Mm-hmm. There we go. Now this axle is got two flat sides on it, on each side, and that lines up with these flat sides. Once you get that done, this only goes on in one way, right down on top of that. And you start your nut. And then we do the same thing on this other side. Put this on there, put that down. Right on there, make sure it goes in the hole. Then we're going to tighten this up. Okay, so that is pretty much it on changing the tire or patching the tube and going through that. So if you do have a flat, man, don't be scared to take the thing apart. These are very, very easy to fix. Doesn't take very much time. You don't need a ton of tools to get it done, and it's a good thing to know in case you do be out on a trail or out somewhere and need to patch your tire while you're going. I'm not going to go completely all through this today because I'm getting ready to put a set of street tires on here. I have found in the wintertime I'm riding way more on the street than I am on the trails. So I ordered a set of street tires. I'm going to try those out on there. I'll probably shoot a video of that, switching those tires out, and then we'll kind of see how they go. Anyway, questions or comments, you know, holler at me. Let me know what you think. Like the video if you will. And y'all have a good day.